McKenzie Atwood, host of the Steven Universe podcast, and we've been waiting a long time for this. We finally got Estelle, the voice of Garnet, on the podcast. So Estelle was gracious enough to take time out of her busy schedule to sit down and talk with us about everything Garnet, from her audition process to meeting Rebecca Sugar for the first time, to her favorite Garnet songs, and to Ruby and Sapphire's wedding. So let's get started. I'm here now with Estelle, the voice of Garnet. Estelle, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. What's happening?
Yeah. So first off, I wanted to talk about, you've had a lot of success in your music career. So what kind of drove you to get involved in voice acting as well?
Well, I think it started when people started to say to me, oh, you have a really distinct voice. You should do voice acting. You should do voiceovers. And I was just like, yeah. And then and then after that, kind of the whispers became a deafening roar, I want to say. And people just kept asking me to do it. And so I was like, well, let's go for it and let's really do it. And I started reaching out to my team and saying, hey, well, everyone says I should do a cartoon. I really want to be on like The Incredibles or something. Can you get me a role, at least an audition or something, you know? And so it kind of like fell into our lap, but fell into our universe, I want to say. By way of Rebecca reaching out and saying, hey, I have this cartoon or this animation I'm working on, big fan of her, and do you think she would voice one of the characters? I was just like, this is what I was asking for. This is great. You know, it was just all working together, I want to say, and that's how it happened. The personal reasons, the selfish reasons were I just wanted my nieces and nephews to hear my voice overseas and no auntie, pretty much. I have loads of them, so.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know it was like a mutual thing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What do your niece and nephews think about the show now?
Oh, I'm amazing to them. They think I'm great. They're like, Auntie Garnet, she beats all the bad guys up. I'm like, yes, it's amazing. I do, it's true. But they're very excited. Like, this has literally raised them. I have a 5-year-old niece, and literally her first interaction with me was other than being on like FaceTime and that, and Skype and whatnot, it was like, Auntie, that's Auntie Stells. Whenever she would watch Steven Universe overseas, or just, you know, they would find it on YouTube and stuff. And she would literally, that's how she knew my voice. So coming over to meet me for the first time when she was like 4, she was just like, oh, it's like we were old friends. Like, she knew who I was. She knew my voice. It was like, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is great.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
What resonated with you about Steven Universe? You said it was like what you were looking for.
Well, the original pitch for me was like, well, she's a big sister essentially, or she's a mother figure to loads of people. I was just like, oh, I can relate. You know, I feel like any kind of acting, they always ask you to take it from a point of personal relativity, right? And I was like, yeah, I can relate to that. I'm definitely the oldest girl, 9 brothers and sisters. I'm definitely the mother hen of my crew. I always make sure everyone's gone home. I'm like, what's everyone do for Sunday dinner? What's everyone do for Christmas? What's everyone do for Easter? I'm that person. So I'm the gatherer of the crew. So like, to me, it's just like, it was a natural thing and a natural caretaking moment for me. And it resonated. And I was like, this is what I think I can relate.
So since Rebecca reached out to you guys, did you do an audition or did you just immediately get cast?
I auditioned. Apparently I auditioned. I don't remember this, but I auditioned for Amethyst too. I was just like, this ain't, I don't think this is not what was intended for my life. And then I thought about the fact that if I was doing Amethyst, like, I'd have a lot more vocal issues. Because she does a lot of high-pitched and ups and downs and squeakies and, you know. But Garnet has to keep it pretty much in the same vocal range that I speak in, singing, talking. Well, no, not singing, but like speaking and, you know, talking in general. So it's kind of cool.
So now that you sort of are in it, is the VO like world sort of how you expected it to be, or have things taken you by surprise?
No, pretty much. I do go learn. I have learned things, or I have learned, like I always say, I've learned how to make different sounds that I never knew you could make. those are yeah. They ask you to make sounds and you're just like, what? I've never heard of this sound before. What would you like me to do now? You told me how to do it, and then I have to do it, and it's hilarious to watch me try and do it. It's pretty unreal.
Yeah.
But I've learned how to make different sounds now. It's kind of stretched my vocal range to a degree. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, it's cool. Always learning.
Yeah. So you talked about how much of Garnet you sort of see in yourself. Have you been able to draw like more personal experiences into your voice work with her?
Well, the good thing about I would say this. The good thing about Garnet over the years is that she's become a little bit more vulnerable. There've been like character arcs. There's a character arc with her where she kind of like calms it down a bit, where she kind of gets used to being on Earth with Stephen and, you know, everybody else, and she's kind of like, oh, there's other emotions, huh? All right, let me figure this out, you know. And it's kind of, you see where she blends Sapphire and Ruby a little bit and becomes just calmer, you know, which is a trait that I generally personally have. Although when you walk up and you see me in dark glasses and I'm quite deadpan in general as a person, people then start speaking to me and they're like, oh no, she's really cool. I'm just like, first glance, all my Aquarius tendencies pop up.
Right.
I'm Aquarius moon. I believe in all the star signs and stuff too, and I'm like Aquarius moon, I'm a Capricorn sun, and I'm a Cancer rising. So it's like all the feelings with either side of cold air. Like, you know, so yeah, it all makes sense.
So yeah, it's been cool. I think Garnet, what's really cool about her is she's sort of one of the first people to open up to Stephen and be kind of real with him, which I really appreciate about her. I
like the episode where he was trying to ask her to see the future, and she was essentially teaching him a lesson that you make your own future.
Yeah.
But he was like, well, what's this? She's like, I don't know. It's for you to figure out. You have to make a decision, and that takes you into your future. But I can tell you once you make the decision, you know, kind of thing. I was just like, ooh. There's a lot of things in these shows. I'm out here listening going, let me take that in for my life. Yeah. Because tomorrow, now, I got to do this. Keep going. So it's a whole thing. It's cool.
So you mentioned that you have some of your nieces and stuff watch the show. Do you have any like friends or other people who watch the show who've talked about how they feel about seeing you as Garnet?
A lot of my friends kind of catch it secondhand, like in the sense of like, we'll be just out and like I'll be in the club or be at a lounge or have come off stage or just be doing something really bougie, right? And then they'll walk up to me and be like, yo, I didn't know that was you though. My sister or my niece or, I was watching this, I was out late and I was watching it and that makes me laugh all day, because I feel like, especially when I'm super dressed up or I'm at like something that's completely unrelated to anything animation related. Mm-hmm. So for instance, I was at my friend Alice Smith's showcase, and this other lady who works for another company, like another well-known like TV company, her friend's there, and she's like to me, oh, I'm such a fan of your music, but girl, Garnet. I was like, yes. It freaks me out every time. I'm just like, all right, this because we're standing at a bar ordering whiskey, and it's just like, what is happening, guys? What is going on? We're literally at this bar like, Johnny Walker Black, oh yes, come on, two of those. Like, I just get excited that people, you know, like in the most unexpected places appreciate Steven Universe, you know?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's got reach.
Yeah.
So what have you been, like, you think the most impressed by working on the show and seeing the people working on it?
I thought it would be a lot more rigid than it actually is. And it's just beautiful watching creativity happen when you're just being directed, but then also watching it flow and opinions being taken. Music is it can be that way sometimes, but for the most part it's not. So it's a little different watching the creative process and how they direct you. I've learned how to direct better. I've learned how to vocal. It's almost like vocal producing, but I've learned how to do it in a slightly different way, and it's been a bit more effective for me. So I've just been learning at the same time as watching. You know, it's kind of cool.
Do you feel like this show or like Rebecca's art or anything has influenced your other work, like musically or thematically or anything?
The thing I always say about Rebecca is that I'm just like, I'm really trying to work with her and put a whole album out, because I feel like she needs a whole. Her songwriting is just. I've just never come across it. It's like, no, it's simple and it's clean and it's to the point and it's not super fussed. And you think about all the legendary records that you hear and the songs that you like, you could sing along to them because they're simple, right? I quote myself, American Boy, it's a very simple song.
Yeah.
There's nothing to that record. And, you know, people jazz it up, they do all these things to it, but at the core they love it because they can sing along to it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think Rebecca does really well. She makes these records that you can just sing along to. And so to me, I'm trying to work with her on an album. It's going to happen someday.
That would be something I would love to see.
I want her to put a whole record together and then go and tour it with a guitar.
Oh my gosh.
And just live her life. So putting it in the air. Putting it in the air.
Okay. I'll stay tuned for that. That would be incredible. And speaking of Rebecca's songs, let's talk about recording Stronger Than You, and here comes a thought for Steven Universe. All right, Estelle is still here with me. Thank you again for coming on and talking to me.
It's all right, we're here.
Yeah, so let's talk about Jailbreak. It's from season 1, the season 1 finale. It's one of the major turning points in the series. And a big reveal for Garnet with Ruby and Sapphire. So, like, songwriting, what was the process for Stronger Than You for you?
Oh, Stronger Than You was written by Rebecca Sugar. I didn't write any of it. She did ask me for influences, though, before. And she sent me the record, like, hey, I wrote this thing. What do you think? And I was like, oh. Well, she asked me for references before. She's like, I'm writing this song, da-da-da. And so I gave her a few. And then she came back with this. She was like, look, and there's a rap in it. And I was like, okay, girl, let me hear this rap. And then she did it. And I was like, no, it's not bad. It's kind of good. Let's go with it, you know? And I just made it make sense for, like, the way I would say it, kind of thing. Because it's always about it sounding good coming out of your mouth, whatever happens. And so she let me have a bit of freedom in the actual delivery, you know, of it.
That's really cool, yeah.
Session. And that's kind of the way we work for all these records. I think I appreciate the fact that she respects me as a musician and not just like, hey, sing this. This is my show. And she's very much like coherent about that. Especially when I have to be the person singing it and it's going to be attached to my actual career forever. Either way, whatever I think of it. So it's kind of cool.
So the rap, what was that like? You mentioned that you got some freedom with that. Was that like how... Were you apprehensive going into it though? No,
I listened to it before, you know, like I would never have done it if I didn't like it. That's one.
Right.
So like I said, I appreciate it. I think it was good and it did, you know, it made all the sense in the world. So I was cool with it.
Yeah. So when you record the songs and stuff, you're recording like to storyboards, right? Mm-hmm. How's that different from like making your own stuff?
Well, she just gives you the outline on the storyboards. When I make my own records, when I do my own, the storyboard's kind of in my head. Mm. So it's a slightly different process. Like I know I can see the story or whatever I'm singing in my head where this is outward. There's a part where she's like, you know, she explains the whole thing to me. She's like, this is what they're doing. And then they're fighting and we haven't colored it so you can't really see it. But this is what's going to happen in the scene while you're doing this. So, you know, like sing some parts a bit more forceful and sing some parts a bit more gentle. You know, it's kind of like a slow build up. And then they just let me do it 2 or 3 times. And I know I do understand, just in general, I understand that's, you know, you have to have a build up. You have, you know, it has to tell a story.
That's cool though. So for your stuff too, you are still pretty visual about it though?
Oh yeah. This is my process. 20 years. This is it. It's in my, and all the songs I sing and the way I do them, like they're in my head first, obviously, and then, you know, like when you're singing it live, you have to kind of visualize it because what you feel inside comes out of your mouth. In the same way, kind of people are like, you know, when you can see it on your face when you're feeling a certain way. No matter how hard you try to hide it, you can always look in somebody's eyes and know exactly what they're dealing with. So it's the same kind of thing. You kind of have to have it in your brain and let it fall out. You know?
Yeah. For Stronger Than You in particular, you got to perform it at Comic-Con, at San Diego Comic-Con 2017. What was that like for you?
That was a first.
Yeah?
That was a first. Doing it at Comic-Con and then doing the video the very next day was a whole, it was fun. It was a first for me that I've never really shot a video like that. We did a call out on Twitter or something, or Twitter and Instagram, like, hey, we're going to shoot this video for Stronger Than You, come out, and the square was flooded, and like one of the hottest days of the year. I was like, I just wanted to give everybody water, ice, hugs, or no, or high fives, one of the two, because we were all sweating like crazy. Like, all right, don't touch me, it's too hot. But everybody came and they really hung out and they had a good time. It was quite It was interesting. I had on a black cape. I was glad. I think I got pitched to wear like a purple suit. I was like, I can't wear cosplay. That's strange. Guys, I cannot cosplay myself doing Garnet. That's silly. I'm not doing that. So me and my stylist came up with a good alternative, I think. And I think it worked out the best.
The cape looked iconic in that video. It was really
That's what we go for. Like, this is a very, like, I know everyone always wants to go to the obvious with things, but I always look at, what the bigger picture, the bigger plan is with everything that I'm involved with. And I think this is a very iconic, groundbreaking, amazing animation. So I wasn't going to do it any disjustice, any kind of disservice, I should say, by just doing the obvious. We had to make it bigger. We had to do more. We had to really make that thing stick out. So this is what we did, and I'm happy.
For sure. So there's another song, Here Comes a Thought, from the episode Mindful Education. What was the process for that similar, or were you more involved this time around?
No, similar process. Rebecca hit me. She said to me, like, I'm writing this song about meditation, about being calm. And I was like, well, he is one of my favorite artists that calms me down. And I referred her to an artist called Emily King. And I said to her, have a listen to Emily's music, and and I think I'd referred her to Emily a while ago. So I think she's brilliant. I just think she's just a beautiful singer. So when I heard Here Comes a Thought, I was like, oh, that was perfect. This is, I think I got this one right. I think we got this one right. It's just a beautiful record. It calms me down. It calms me down in the general day. Everyone's like, what's your favorite record? I'm like, that one, Here Comes a Thought. Because it's like a lightning rod, a calm lightning rod, or just like a water, I don't know, a lightning rod of water. Does that make sense? Like, made out of water. Just it's very soothing is the word, Right. And I think it's a great record. It's a great song, whatever happens, wherever it's played.
Mm-hmm. So for this one, AJ Mashaka was also on the song. Did you guys get to record that together?
We did it together in the studio. I didn't know we were doing it as a duet, so that was a nice surprise. I kind of try not to read or listen to too much, like the records and whatnot, or even the scripts for too much before I go in, because I want to have first reactions. Personally, I want to have first reactions or be fresh in direction. Because that seems to work, instead of being like super over rehearsed and getting in my head about what it should be and sound like, and then being stuck to it and can't move from it. I'd rather just take fresh direction. So it was nice to be able to kick it and sing with her. The first time I met her too, she's a beautiful voice as well. It was just easy. It's quite easy.
Right. That's awesome. So what was the experience like for that compared to other musical collaborations you've had in your career?
Not hard, similar, easy, quite less excitable. Like, both of us were in there. Like, we're both. She's a voice actress as well. Like, I guess she's a singer first, but she's an actress first. So there's a level of professionalism. Is that a word? Professionality? It's not. Professionalism. I'm making up words, guys. Professionalism that we both kind of walked in with, and we're just like, let's just. We're just gonna get this done. And then we just sang it. It was easy, and then left the session. It sounded good. I was like,
it's a calm song.
Yeah, it's a calm. Yeah, you cannot walk in there with 1,000, being on 1,000 or having all this energy. You just kind of have to sit down and get in a moment, and we did, and knocked it out.
Yeah. Are there any other standout Garnet character moments for you that you can think of?
My favorite, recent Garnet moment was when they were going off Earth into space to save the world, right? And she turns around. Everyone's kind of giving something to hold on to and take care of on Earth while they're gone. She turns around. She has the cat. She's like, "Yeah, water my cat. Water my cat."
Yeah, she tells Greg to please water this for me. Yeah,
yeah, and he's like, "What? What's wrong with this lady?" So that happens. That's my favorite. The deadpanness is fun for me. I see afterwards and I'm just like, oh, that was pretty funny.
Because she's so serious about it. She's like, no, I need this to be done. Yeah.
Like how I just meant professionality, that's how I feel like she means life. Yeah. I said that with such intent. Professionality is not a word though. Okay. That's how I feel like, she rolls her life, and it's real.
Is it ever tough to keep a straight face when you deliver lines like that? Like really deadpan?
No, it's not hard to keep a straight face. It's when the rest of them are in the room and we get the sentence, or we get the whole, I get the whole. When I'm doing it on my own, it's not hard. When everyone else is there and I got to really hear the whole sentence or hear how the whole page breaks down, and it's something really funny, that's when it becomes like, yo, okay, like, everyone chill out. Everyone stop laughing. Nah, everyone stop,
Yeah. Okay, and speaking of the Crewniverse, you guys all give so much back to the fans, so let's talk about that fan interaction and their response to the show, and especially Reunited. Okay, I'm still here with Estelle. So Steven Universe has obviously resonated with fans all over the world. How do you give back to the communities, like the fan communities that have formed everywhere? Like, what's your process for that?
Well, I do a lot of the cons. I've been at a lot of the cons, and I try and go above and beyond when I see when I do the either the signing booths or even when we're just at the cons. Like, I'm the person that brings sweets and music and like spends time with them instead of just signing something and walking along. We have dance battles. It's a whole rotation. It's an experience, like this to me is like, I've done this for years with music where we have to go do signings at like different stores or whatever. And I always find the experience exceeds just the piece of paper that you sign or the thing at the moment. So we try to give an experience, but also I'm like, I pay attention to when they're tweeting me and Instagramming me, and certain times of the year I'll do like, let me see your Garnet contests, your best Garnet for like Halloween. And I'll post at least 10 of my favorite, because Garnet is a big Halloween costume. It's real. Adults and kids, it's beautiful to see. And across all races or genders, everything is beautiful. So that makes me very happy. And then, I just try and stay up on Twitter. I get like loads of tweets, and a lot of them are crazy. So, but I try and like as many as I can and retweet the relevant ones or respond to the relevant ones. But some of them are just like, just to get a response, and it becomes out of hand. So I kind of just chill out. I'm not too crazy on that.
Right. So with Reunited, there was a lot of response from people because of like the LGBT representation, especially in that episode. Mm-hmm. How did it feel to see the response to that?
Again, it's beautiful. To me, I'm just out here like, two sides of it is like, this is great, yes, celebrate. At the same time, I'm just like, why are we still having to just celebrate this now? Like, what are we doing wrong as humans that this is a big thing? Like, why isn't this just the standard? I don't even understand. Like, so to me, it's like a bittersweet thing. Like, I'm very, very happy and excited. At the same time, I just want to be like, this isn't something that should have to be made a big deal about. It should just be standard, right?
Right.
It's frustrating. It's a little frustrating for me personally. And especially because I'm like, I do all the Pride events all year, every year. We have a ball. It's a fun time, It's just, I'm an ally. I support. I'm in the community. I support the community to the fullest. It's just very, it's a little frustrating, I've never seen any difference. I don't understand why there isn't. I get why people have their issues. I just think it's silly. It's 2018. Yeah. Let's stop this BS now. Excuse my language.
It's a good step forward, though. At least
the fact that, again, this is the part where I'm so honored to be a part. It's a great step forward. My thing is, I hate that we have to have the phrase of it's a step forward. It should be standard. That's this shouldn't be a discussion about this anymore. It should be like, all right, this is part of human. This is human. This is what this is life. This is what we do. This is culture. This is society. This is what it is. Stop it. Stop making it different. Stop making it something that's a fringe moment. It's frustrating to me. Like, everyone stop it. Just everybody.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So, but I think it's beautiful to see the reaction. I love to see all the people that dress up as Ruby and Sapphire every single, in the wedding outfit and everything. It's glorious. I'm out here like, you guys are dedicated, because this red paint and blue paint that you have all over your bodies. Wow. Yeah. I'll be in there like, not in my hair. No, you won't.
Yeah.
But it's good to see. It's good to see. It's good.
Yeah. Another cool thing was that you made an appearance at like the Black Women Animates boot camp at Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
How'd you get involved with that?
Well, they asked me to be a part of it based on the fact that I play a character, Garnet, who is essentially black. You know?
Yeah.
It's a purple character, but she represents, I guess, black, you know, and I'm a woman playing it, and I'm a black woman that plays it. So to me, I think it was great to see that many women of color in one room feeling empowered in the animation space, you know, and seeing a real career and being seen, feeling like they were finally being seen. I was amazed. I've never in my entire career come across so many women that were like, I animate, I draw, I want to write, I want to be a storyboard artist, I want to, you know, young women of color. Like, I've never seen that. I don't see young women do it, period. But this was, to me, you know, I see them at the cons and I see them come up to me, and some of them will draw on a table. I encourage drawing on tables. I let them draw at my table. I think it's beautiful. It's like a big old graffiti wall. I've taken a few of them, the tabletops home. But I've never seen that much concentrated, you know, and I think it's a good thing, and I think it's something that should be encouraged. Again, it shouldn't be an exception. It should be a standard.
Yeah.
But if this is the start, then all right, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Taylor's amazing. She's amazing.
That's awesome. So another cool thing that happened is the Dove Self-Esteem project. What has that like resonated with you?
Yeah. I love that we have there's a big enough brand that Dove that understands the need to keep reiterating body positivity and the need to keep reminding our young people that it's okay to just be. This is the one thing I've given, and it's never going to end. People's, you know, it's a hill and valley thing. It's like we get to the point of like, yes, we are all happy with our bodies, and something comes along that tells us that maybe we could be better. You know, and so to me, It's just like it's an ongoing thing. But so this is beautiful, and I love that Steven Universe is kind of the poster child to help move that along, because it is about inclusivity. It is about just being comfortable and just being who you are. You know, this entire show is just about being who you are. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very fitting arrangement, I feel like. Great partnership, yeah. So one other thing is that the Diamond Days arc, the new upcoming episodes, that's all right around the corner. So without giving any spoilers, what do you... I'm trying to think how to phrase this. What can the fans be excited about for what the future holds for Garnet and the rest of the Crystal Gems? This juice is lovely. What? I didn't hear that question. What happened? I don't know what you're talking about. This Diamond Days arc. Let me see. Hold on. Next question. Okay. Well, how about I phrase it this way? Should fans be excited? What? Okay. All right. Okay, we can go ahead. We can skip that one. Okay. I have one more thing to ask. Yes. Lovers Rock just got released a few months ago. Yeah. Yay. What's next for you? What's next for your career? All right, so this album just came out. So just came out, so I'm literally in the middle of promoting. We'll be on the road early next year, January. And then after that, I started my label, so I'm working on my two new artists, a lady called Nick and Navy. Who are two young girls from Los Angeles, and I'm developing my label more and working on new music and acting. I've just finished a role in a TV movie, which is going to be kind of cool. I got to play against type, which is always the dream when you go for roles, because everyone just is like, come play Estelle and be a singer, and I'm just like, okay, I can do that. Totally, I can do that. But this one, I actually have to be a whole different type of person. So I'm excited about that, and just more roles and more TV and developing, and then also working on music for TV as well. That's like my personal dream, is to do music and music supervision for television aside from like actual music. So, you know, working on developing more TV, more documentary stuff, putting my artists out, working on new albums for end of next year. I think I want to do a Christmas album.
Okay.
At this point, I feel like I have to. I'm not sure what genre I'm gonna do it in yet, but I think I should do it. And then and in between that, trying to represent Wu-Tang, Steven Universe, and live my life. Just
sounds like you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, take a holiday in between all of that. It'd be good.
Staying busy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But before we let you go today, we've got a bunch of fan questions that were sent in. So the first one comes from Lou, and they want to know, if you were in the Steven Universe world, what do you think your gem weapon would be?
I do like, Steven has this ability to bubble people, right? Mm-hmm. I like the idea of bubbling people and just like floating off to things. Like, that would be fun. Like, someone was saying stuff to me I didn't want to hear, I'd be like, bloop. And just push them and float them away, and go away. Just go into the earth, yeah. Nah.
Anna wants to know, where would Ruby and Sapphire go on their honeymoon if they got a chance to have one?
All right. Okay, I have thought about this. I believe they would probably go to Iceland.
Iceland?
I think it would be interesting. You know why? Because of the hot springs. Because then they could be hot and cold at the same time. Like the hot springs are hot, and then it's cold. It's in the middle of like a freaking ice crater. So like you could be in the water, but like out of the water. Like, trust me, Iceland, the hot springs. That's where they would go.
They can achieve room temperature happiness.
You'd have boiling, like bath water heat, and then be like in the middle of an ice crater, just standing there like, this is a wonderful, like, they'd feel at home. They wouldn't unfuse. It'd be great.
That would be great. Okay, cool. Next question is from an anonymous person who wants to know what the most fun part of your job is.
The most fun part is getting to play different sounds out of my mouth, per se. Like in the recording sessions, like it's literally just dream something up or think of something and try it and see if it works for some of the parts. And that's fun to me. That's like, it's like a creator's dream, So to me, that's the most fun part. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Marley SB wants to know, what is the hardest scene you had to voice act for?
There was a scene where I think she was unfusing, and I had to go up, down, like that. And I had to do it without sounding like, and I was like, I sound like Schmeagol. I sound crazy. I don't know what is this coming out of my face? And then I had to replicate it and do it like 3-4 more times. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what I just did. I don't know, guys. This might be terrible. They're going to call me back to do this again. I know it. And I tried to not have to come back and re-record bits.
Right.
I'm a perfectionist like that. I want to do it right, or not at all. I was like, no, they're definitely going to call me back. I feel like they hate me now. They think I'm trash. I had all the insecurities. So I was like, this is terrible. I sounded crazy. So that was a difficult part.
Okay, cool. Anonymous wants to know, what would you say has been your top favorite episode to be a part of?
Oh my goodness. Oh wait, there was one episode. The episode where me and Steven are essentially just me and Steven essentially for the most part, but we're kind of roaming through the town, and this is when Garnet loses her sight, her future vision for a second.
Pool hopping.
That's it. And Steven has to like kind of guide the scenario. Because it was interesting getting to see her be a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit leaning on him, like, you have to help me now. Steven being like, what? Okay, sure. What? Really? You can't see the future, huh? Just both of them having to lean on each other. That was quite fun.
Nice. Okay, cool. Next question is from Ray, and they want to know, do you remember any particularly funny moments from when you were recording?
Do you know who the funniest is in all of our sessions? It's Pearl, it's Dee Dee.
That's what I was gonna guess. Actually,
she's very much a parent in real life, and so seeing her in her histrionics when she's like doing like crazy, like, oh my goodness, the world's caving in, Pearl. That is and she's standing up and she's doing it with her whole body, and it's just for me, and I'm calm and I'm sitting down and I'm being Garnet, and then just watching somebody be so like, oh my god, like, and physically she's so hilarious to watch. So Dee Dee is the funnest person to like be in a session with. Like, she's hilarious, like hilarious. And we're all just watching her. We just stand there and wait for her to put her lines in. We just watch her and we're just like, yo, you're crazy. You know you look nuts, right? Like, she's funny. She's funny. Yeah. She does it. She acts from head to toe. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then a question from Andrew, who wants to know, for the cast, how is recording for a video game different from recording for the show? For when you guys recorded for the game Save the Light?
Well, it's different in that it's like you have to keep the character voice, but far shorter lines. And they make you say, like, for instance, jump, jump.
Yeah.
Jump. And then you don't know which one they're going to pick until you hear it in the game. You're like, oh, why didn't they use the other jump? Like, it's something as simple as jump, but it's a game and it stays on it forever. So, like, that's your voice in somebody's head or in someone's head voice, whatever, and then they will, it's just weird. It's just different. It's just different. And then they're quite clear about the sounds you should make. They don't really give you much creativity. They're like, say it like this. You're like,
yeah, it's a bit more rigid. Yeah,
a little bit more rigid. Yeah.
Okay, cool. One more question. This one's from Joy, and they want to know, if you could write your own episode, what would it be about, and what would your character be doing?
Oh my goodness. My own episode. Oh, that'd be hard. Oh, I think I would explore the idea, which wouldn't make sense, of Garnet having distant sisters and brothers. Or like random different, like some reason she had these kids that came out of nowhere, and like they weren't like rubies or sapphires. They were like other mini fusions that had figured out how to fuse, but they didn't grow up. They kind of stayed as kids, so they were kind of looking at her like, how do we get to be adults? Like that would be it. And so it'd be interesting watching her be completely perplexed as to like how these other little mini Garnets came about, but also like really feeling like responsible and like, I should probably help them. And then that would be confusing. I think that would throw the crap out of Garnet. That'd be fun. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Like just a whole planet full of other mini Garnets. Like that'd be great.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for answering these fan questions.
Thanks for having me.
The Steven Universe podcast is produced by Charles Abadje, Stacey Para, and Conrad Montgomery. Special thanks to Rob Sorcher, Cartoon Network Studios, The Crooniverse, and Turner Studios in Atlanta. And thanks to all of you guys for listening every week. We really appreciate it. You can listen and subscribe to the Steven Universe podcast for free at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on Amazon and Google smart speakers. I'm McKenzie Atwood, and I'll see you next time.